Hey, so I've done this video before, so they very much like it. Um, but I just wanted to say that what this video is essentially for is to help people get started in art. Because I know that sometimes when people are just getting started, they have anxiety of like, I don't know enough to get started, or what if I can't figure it out, or like there's too many options, or this a lot. I'm just trying to help people simplify their first few steps. Um, I also think it's really important that people don't have that starting anxiety as much as they might otherwise, because um, if people are like, oh, I'm having trouble getting started, I'm going to just use AI to make this happen, then what we will eventually have is a shortage of artists, and that would be bad. So I think it's very important to get this information out there of like, um, yeah, like art can be very complicated, but especially in the beginning stages, it can be very simple as well. And that's the idea behind this video. What's up, aspiring artists? It's me, Amaya Lithis, also known as Lexi. And today, um, I'm going to be helping, hopefully, anyone who is having trouble getting started making art. First, we'll start with music. You could pick up a kazoo or a ukulele and start learning it, and those are perfectly valid ways of beginning as an artist. But I'd like to show you something that's sort of where I started. Um, I did a few things before I did this, but this is where it really took off. Um, this is LMMS, but you can use any DAW that you want. Um, and probably you want a kick, a snare, and some kind of cymbal just to start off with. Um, and what you want to do is just um, put things down in a repeating pattern. Um, and you're just getting started. It doesn't really matter what the pattern is. I'm I've been at this for a while, so I sort of know what I'm doing. So my pattern is going to be something very specific, but it can be anything. And once you have a feel for how this stuff sounds in a tight pattern, you can sort of break it up and have like rests and like just sporadic randomness, and you can make that sound good with the rest of the song. But you want to start with just putting it in a repeating pattern, and you can take that and just copy paste it for as long as you want. Um, um, I'm just going to do it here. And then you can go here where the synths are. And these are just pre-made synths. A lot of like big pro producers will use synths that they made or that they edited or whatever. I use a lot of pre-made synths because it's easier. Um, and I've been at this. Thank you, Windows. I've been at this um, for I don't know, since like 2017, and I still use mostly pre-made synths. Um, but there's nothing wrong with that. Just find one you like the sound of to get started with, and you can LMMS. There's a few DAWs that do this, but LMMS lets you use velocity is basically just volume. I was trying to turn it down so I could talk over. I'm just gonna do it on my headphones. Okay. Um. Uh. LMMS lets you set scales and chords. And that makes certain things simpler. Um. Because like if you do Arabic, then it does like well, if you do it a certain way, it sounds like stereotypical Middle Eastern music, which is not really what I go for. But um, I use Arabic scale sometimes, just not for that. Um, but you want it to sound kind of sad, you can do minor. Minor isn't always sad, but that's sort of like the basics of minor. And that gives it like a like that sounds really good. That's like a uh, um um kind of a 2000s late 90s new metal thing going on there. I like that. But I'm gonna sort of show you the process behind that. Hang on, let me look at that again. Um, for your melodies, you kind of want to mix long notes and short notes, or at least I do. I'm not an expert, but I'm just showing you like the basics that you need to get started. And your melody can be as simple as that. But like to give it a little bit of a pattern, you can do. I think that's a. Uh, yeah. No. It's here. Uh, yeah. You can do a fourth note 2/8 notes, a fourth note, 2/8 notes, and that can be your pattern, right? And it really doesn't matter where you put them. They'll generally sound pretty good. Because generally, like, what your brain likes to hear is a repeating pattern. Um, so if I um, if you're someone who has been like exposed to noise music or anything else that doesn't really have an exact pattern, or that like changes this pattern constantly and you don't get it, it's an acquired taste. But the reason it's an acquired taste is because your brain is pre-wired to like patterns. And that's pretty good. And that took no time at all. Um, it didn't really um, take that much skill, and it took very little effort. So, and it's a free program, and everything that I used was something that came with the program. Uh, Save as. Bitch. Um, but yeah, everything that I use is um, it came with the program, and it really like if you stick with patterns, um, and especially if you like mark scales, you can make something that sounds decent right off the bat. It won't sound great, but it'll sound serviceable. And from serviceable, you can get to good, and you might even get to great. Most people don't get to great. I haven't got to great, but yeah, it's not that hard to get started. You just got to get started. It can be good to learn music theory and all of this, but you don't want to get hung up on it. Um, and now we're moving on to visual art. All right, why are we in MS Paint? Because it comes with the computer, or it used to at least. If you're on Windows 11, apparently it's different. I don't know. Um, but it's a very simple program, so anything that I show you, um, it'll just be easier to show you here. Um, it's not going to have layers and stuff. There's a lot of stuff that is more complicated in other programs. And I could show you how to draw things by hand, but I just don't want to set up a camera right now. Um, but the neat thing about MS Paint is you can make all kinds of shapes. Um, uh, Without needing to actually draw them, and that how do I? There we go. And being able to do all these shapes. Um, I have no clue what I'm drawing here. Doesn't really matter. Um, but being able to do all these like shapes is cool. What you gotta remember is most art programs let you do this shape. They let you do this shape. They let you do this shape. Um, and like I don't really do the shape tools in like my art program, but I think they let you do this shape. Um, but um, I think one of the biggest things that has people hung up on drawing is drawing faces, because there's that meme of like draw a circle and then draw the rest of the head, and that's because in between that are like all these like microscopic little things you have to do. But I think the biggest thing that hangs people up is this motherfucker right here, right? What is that? You see it all the time. You see it in like how to draw manga books and all that shit. What is it? I'll explain what it is. I'm gonna do it as simply as possible. Um, Actually, I think I drew it a little bit wrong. Um, so here is your brow line, and it can be various shapes and sizes, or various placements depending on what your character looks like. And here's the center line where your nose is, and that just keeps everything straight. And then here is for your mouth. Now, on MS Paint, this is a pain in the ass, and the reason it's a pain in the ass is you have to erase everything after you've drawn it. But we're gonna do this in a different color so it's easier. There's an eyebrow. There's an eyebrow. There's a nose. And there's a mouth. And then you put under the eyebrows, you put an eye. Put another eye. And then you want to line your ears up with your eyes. And that can be as simple as just a little semicircle. You want your ears to kind of, like I'm going to redo that, but you want your ears to match up, and you want them in line with your eye. That's, can I do this? Yes, I can. Some art programs, if you have the fill bucket tool selected, you can right click, and it will um, delete an entire line. Now, you see where I fucked up here, which is that I deleted my circle. So what we're going to do is we're going to do that again. And that's handy because I can show it to you again. Let's see. Boop. And then, no. And then we want our lines to be in black so we can erase them. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. With anything that's kind of pixel perfect, I'll show you in a more extreme example. Okay, so you'll see. Yeah, how do I make this the most visible it can be? Okay, you'll see when it's when the line is totally straight, you'll see it's one line. But if it's slightly off, it is technically multiple lines that are kind of connected. So that's something to look at. And then now we go back to our gray. And, here's our, this line tool is really annoying to work with. Here's our eyebrow. Here's our other eyebrow. Actually, why don't we give this guy a raised eyebrow? Here's our eye. Here's our eye. Here's our nose. Here's our mouth. The mouth line you don't really need exactly. I don't personally use the cross anymore. I used to when I was less experienced and didn't really know how to draw faces. But I got to the point where I didn't use it anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a face the way I usually do. And you'll see the difference between sort of like rigidly sticking to something and making it sort of freehand. And then if you want to draw a neck, there's a lot of ways to do it, but I personally like to draw a C shape starting from the jawline. And you can give a character more of a chin like that, but I don't really feel like doing that. Here's how I draw hair. You draw like some spikes, and then sort of a C shape, and then you draw the same C shape in the opposite direction, and boop, that makes sort of a spike. You can draw a lot of things like that. You can draw a knife, like a curved knife, or that could be a wizard hat. So that's a good thing to learn how to draw. And I like to do the shoulders like from the neck and then like sort of up and then back down, sort of up and then back down. And then from there, you can line up the neck with the arm and do that again. And then I see that I've drawn this too far out. And I'm not like a super talented artist, so I might not be like showing you like 100% correct, but this is just like basics for like total beginners. You don't know where to start. I'm mostly just showing you that just getting started isn't that hard. And there's a guy. We can give him more detailed eyes a little bit. I can't zoom in or I'd do more. Yeah, that's how you draw a guy. And while we're here, let's draw a monster. I'm gonna draw an animal style face. Which is just like a triangle here, triangle here. Give him some teeth. The teeth are just triangles. And that's sort of an alligator jaw or like a dinosaur. And then to make it a little bit more bird-like and also to show that, or like alligator-like, and also to show that the eyes are front-facing, which means it's a predator. I give it like a bump from here, and that's where the eyes are. And then we can do that here too if you want. That's the neck. And it's extra scary. It's extra scary because it's got a gun. Not a very good gun. Hang on. Whip, 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 whip. Rip. I can draw better guns than that, but that's good enough for now. And we can go with the detail there. And I feel like anybody can do what I've just shown you. And if you can do that, you can do all kinds of stuff. Have fun, be creative, and goodbye.